Yo, what's up RC drifters? New year, new me, 2024, new chassis build, and I'm building the Reve D RDX. Yo, so without any hesitation, let's do the best thing ever and cut open this brand new seal for a brand new opening of a brand new box. And with that all open, let's have a look at what we get. To start off with, let's see what's in this box. Yo, so we have got the main bottom plate, a nice toolkit, some lovely RDX stickers, the RDX manual, which looks really good. And then there's the RDX parts list as well. Lots of Japanese writing and like an exploded diagram of everything as well. So hopefully we won't need to jump into that, but we will need to jump into all of these bags. So let's quickly rattle through all of that stuff and see what we've got. So bag number one, looks like we've got the turnbuckles and some like maybe part of like the steering, like the steering horns. Bag two looks like front bulkhead kind of stuff. Bag three is all like servo horns and servo mounting hardware. And then we've got bag number four, which looks to be rear lower arms and the pins and everything. And then what have we got here? Bag five looks like the diff. And we've got bag six is all of the gearbox. There's the gears in there, some bearings. Bag seven, lots of fun stuff on there, lots of screws, chassis bracing, battery compartment and like holder and stuff like that. We've got bag eight, which has got all of your calipers. There's some grease in there. That's maybe part of like the front mount or something. And bag nine looks to be all like sort of front arms and all your ball ends and stuff like that. Bag 10, we have got our shocks. These things are supposed to be like the best sort of out of the box plastic shocks on the market at the moment. Not actually going to be building these because I'm going to slap my Overdose HG2s straight on there. Bag 11, we've got, this is like a body mounting bumpers, stuff like that. So I'm assuming we're going to be starting with bag one. Bag number one, steering bell crank. We'll get this parts list all out of the way. We don't need that. And then we are going to go straight into cutting all of this stuff open and having a look. We're going to be using my handy Games Workshop side cutters to like cut all the sprue parts apart. And to start off with, it looks like we need the the first arm here of the steering. So we're going to break that one off, and then always trim any of the excess off. Got a boatload of bearings. There's a couple that are obviously not going to fit, and then there is some that are. So it's obviously just the ones that fit and press into that. And then having the arm this way up, so there's a slightly thicker portion that's on the bottom. We've got these 0.1 millimeter washers, very, very thin, to set the backlash. So it says you just put one shim, and there is this kind of conical spacer. I don't know what you'd call this. What do they call it? This is the Bellcrank post right, so I'm guessing there'll be a left. We want one of these, and then one of these tiny little shims. The shim goes on the post. The post goes up through the underside, and then we have got an M3 by 18 screw. When they make the manuals, they make a picture of all the parts you need, and it's actually, if you haven't got a way of measuring stuff, it's actually the size, so you can actually just put it on and go, yep, that's the 18mm, that's the one that I need. So, and that is going to go down in through here. So just hand tight, and you can still see, you don't need to like back it off because it's already really, really nice and smooth. So this looks to be this way up. So you've got a hex here, and then you've got a circle here, and in your little bag of screws we've got a little nylock M3 nut. With the M18 going through there, you've got enough thread to go down in through the main post. Nylon. Right, so you can see you've got your right horn at the back there. You've got your captive little M3 nylock nut, and then you've got your 18mm M3 Allen screw that goes through to 10mm onto this long post on the other side. Now this long post, we're going to have the other servo horn on, so we're going to set up the other servo horn. So first of all, we need the main part of the horn off the tree. So that's this one, the little arm that's off it. Your two remaining larger bearings go in either side there. We've then got 3 ball ends that come with, and the ball end simply just screws into this side section, and you can use either your 5.5 box wrench to screw that into the end there, or you could use your 2mm Allen to screw into the end of it either. So these two are going to be the ones you use the most. So that is our second piece there, and then that simply is going to go on there. And then we've got a load of like rods, I suppose you call them. So there's one here that has got the right angle, so that one's a 90 degree. That one says it's a 43 mil, so they've actually got them written on there. There's a 43.3, a 43, and a 43.3. So we're going to need this one. Like so. You see it's flat on either side. And we're just going to snap this one on there. And then the steering rack goes on like this. And then that goes on over the top. As you can see, it's really free playing already. I already love, compared to the RMX, which had brass bushes to start off with and all plastic parts. You had to like do the screw up so it was binding and then back it off so you got the free play. This uses aluminium, what do you call them? Like crank posts, which means that you can do the bolts right up tight and then the bearings just spin on the crank posts. So that's really lovely. The 0.1 mil thick shims are for backlash adjustment. Please use it according to the backlash situation. So I'm going to start off with what the manual says. This next piece here goes on top of our Bellcrank situation. Trim that one down a bit. And we've got the two 12 mil screws, which are the only two screws left over in this bag. And then we use one of these 0.1 mil shims, go on the top of this post here. And then with that done, so this piece facing this way, like so, all that all clips in nicely. Right, so you can see here it clips in like this. You've got the horns at the front. Take notice of the orientation of these top holes, and you can see there's a bit protruding on this bottom piece. To start off with, we are just going to assemble these as the manual says. So I don't want to cause myself any issues, but it basically is saying that you've got extra washers, so you can space out, get rid of any tolerances, because the least amount of play is what you're looking for. You want free movement of the Bellcrank arms like this. But you see here, now that we've done that up, there is very little movement up and down. Putting an extra shim in there might cause binding, or it might take up that slack a bit more, but there's very small amount there, and I'm just going to leave it as it is, and we can come back to this at a later date. I'm going to take this other large piece off this sprue, and then that sprue is going to be done with. Boom. And as always, clear up the little bit left over. This is page 2. So we're starting off with this piece. We've got 4 bearings left, which obviously they are going to get pressed into these holes here. So we've got them either side. We've also got a bag of these spacers here, and it says to use 1mm spacers and the 51.7mm, which are these top ones. So the two longer remaining arms, we're going to be using them. Right, so we're going to clean off those so they're good to go. We're going to have a look here at the orientation, and in the inner holes, here and here on the inner holes, we're going to screw in the last remaining two ball ends, and it says to put a 1mm spacer between those ball ends, but I'm not going to use these plastic ones because I've got some nice red aluminium anodized ones that I'm going to use instead. It is very handy to have a bunch of different size spacers. I've got all different sizes from 0.25mm right the way up to I think 3 or 4mm spacers. So I'm going to use this to kind of like dress up any parts where they use one of these spacers. I'll use them to just add a little bit of colour, and aluminium over plastic washers means that the tolerance are going to be more exact. I've got my 1mm spacers there. These are the ones that they provide you with. Nothing wrong with using these, but if you are building a kit, it is good. Yeah, Racing do this kit of washers. They're all M3, various different sizes. So really handy, and add a little bit of colour. Like I say, depending on what you are building, it is handy to be able to have some washers to take out any tolerances and make sure that everything is built with the smallest tolerance possible. So I'm going to use these instead of the ones provided, and these are going to screw in here. So if I just jump into this, so it gets difficult to pick up these bloody things. Right, so there you can see where I've stuck those 1mm washers, and that is the location on which you want to stick them. Now we've got this piece, and we have got these arms stuck on, which if you look, just to be a stickler for details, they are stuck on with the writing facing upwards, and on the outer part as well. So the number is on the outer section here, like that. We're going to take our two remaining little posts here, put these tiny little shims on there. Right, so those posts go in the top here and hold on to the bottom of the horns. There is a little 0.1mm shim in between, and you want to check there's no binding. It's all nice and free, flopping nicely from side to side. So we're going to assume that's all good, and now we can move on to completed steering bell crank. So that is it. That is that first section done.